Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Sam and we are talking about Tapforms 5 for iOS and Mac. And today we're continuing our theme on Tampermonkey and importing products from the web, in our case Amazon, into our CouchDB so that we can get that into Tapforms. Now, since I've been recording these videos, there's been a few changes, and so I'm going to just refresh this page here, and you're going to notice that my link has disappeared. The link that we added in the previous videos that was here is now no longer here. And this is one of the fun things about doing these sorts of integrations, is that sometimes the app on the other end disappears and changes on us. And we need to start again. Now, so we're going to right click on this, and as we did in the previous episode, we're going to look for something that looks like it. And it looks like we've called this Order Information Group Desktop. So what we're going to do is very quickly patch this up to be that instead of the previous one. So get element by ID. We're going to reload this. And there we go. Our import to CouchDB link is back working again. And we can see here at the bottom, we've got everything that we had set up. So, bit of a miscontinuity there, where Amazon has sort of changed between recordings. Life happens, but that's how we patch through that. So you may have noticed that it was missing, and now it's back. So, in the previous episode, what we looked at doing is creating and linking all of these pieces together. And one of the things that we left behind was we didn't set the ID number. So we just have it as rec quote question mark at the moment. And so what we're going to do is change that so that we can turn it into something useful. Now, I'm going to use some scripts that I've already generated, which should come as no surprise to you, to be able to change that. And to do that, we're going to add a new line that says require https raw.githubusercontent.com/Pasamio, my name, tftools, master, scripts, JS, md5, some.js. And this is JavaScript to be able to create an md5 hash of a string. And what we're going to use that on is we're going to md5 hash the location of the website, the page that we're on, so that we can get a stable hash. And to do that, first step, we're going to grab this, and then we're just going to do md5 window.location.href. Now, when we do this, Tampermonkey, the editor, is going to give us this little warning. It says ESLint, no undef, MD5 is not defined. And that's correct, because what we're doing is we're actually importing it via this line. So we need to tell Tampermonkey, hey, this thing exists. So let's do that. Globals MD5. Hit save on that. And now when we do that, we don't have that warning anymore. So let's check to see what that looks like. We'll reload the page here. Wait for that to pop in. Poppity pop. Clear out all of that so that it's a little easier to see. And we now see that we have record with an ID with a unique value. Now, because we did this based on this URL, we're always going to get the same value. That said, if we do change this URL at the top here, we're going to get a different value, which may mean that we create a different record. Now, one of the things I have done before is replace parts of the URL so that we get rid of aspects of it that are not necessarily unique. That's not something I want to really do right now. We'll save that for a slightly later video, because cleaning that up, it's a little bit of work, let's just say. So the next step here is we want to really get to the meat of the issue. And that is, we need to be able to put that into our CouchDB. And to do that, we're going to use another script called PouchDB. And we'll add that to our global list. Now, PouchDB is a implementation of much of the Couchbase API and library inside of JavaScript. And it can be used to have like a local in-memory data source, or it can interact directly with a CouchDB server. Now, in this case, we're going to interact directly with the server. And to do that, we're going to need to go down to where we have our record and create a new line. So to get started here with PouchDB, we need to instantiate an instance of the database object and then tell it what the database is that we're going to connect to. So to do that, let's indent that. Database equals new PouchDB, and we're going to be pointing to the instance that I already created, and the username should be demo user 1.266984, and our database is going to be the one that we had before, Tapforms, YouTube document. And we're going to grab the ID out of the sink here, copy that, and put that there. So this is going to connect to our database using that particular username and password. Double check that works. It's demo pass creative. So what we've done here is define a brand new database object that is connected with this username and this password into this CouchDB instance, again the one running on my local network, and is then able to have a look at this particular database that we've synced there via Tapforms. So this is the same ID that we use in Tapforms to sync the data. Now, once we've done that, we've created a record here that is already Tapforms compatible, which is pretty cool. So what that means is all we have to do now is say db.put the record, because we want to create the record. We've already got an ID for it. So we're going to put that record into the system. And then we need to say handle what happens when it works. So let's just do log that for debugging. And if it fails, we're going to need to catch an error. And we'll put that, and we'll just log that, because we're not actually going to handle that right now. I did that. No, tab that in. Let's save that. Let's have a look at how that works. Do that line there. And while we're at it, let's wait. This is the. There it is. So all going well, we should see a new document appear. Come on. There we go. Nope. Let's try again. There we go. So all going well, we should see a new document appear. So we're going to reload this page. Wait for everything to pop in. Wait for Amazon to have all of its errors. And then we're going to click import to CouchDB. And you are not allowed to access this database. let's add the user to the document, and we will try again. And there we go. It's now added the record. And then we can see here that we've got this record. The purchase date still is hard coded, but that's okay. We're going to tackle that shortly. Let's get rid of that fields there. That was weird. There we go. Title is now set to the value, and we've got the URL set to the item. Now, if we click this a third time, so the first time we got a forbidden error, and we just quickly fixed the permissions on that user because for some reason it wasn't right. The second time we did it, it created it. Now the third time, and we got an okay response, which is what we want. The third time when we do it, we get an error here that says error conflict, document update conflict, 409 conflict, document update conflict. And what is actually telling us here is we tried to create this record, but this record already exists in the database. So once we've done this, one of the downsides of this particular sort of import, or upside depending on how you look at it, is that we will automatically block creating a new copy of the same record more than once. For this particular use case, I actually find that to be a benefit, because what we're doing is we're creating, importing this record. We generally only want to do it once, right? We don't really want to do it more than once, and maybe want to duplicate it. This is a particularly interesting one because I bought this set of shoes twice. Again, I really liked these shoes, so I bought two of them. So there's a use case here where maybe I want to do that twice, but now that they're currently unavailable, I'll have to buy a new type of shoe. It's not as useful, right? So generally you're gonna buy a thing once and potentially track that and track the ordering and delivery of it. And that's how we would do that. Now our next step here is we need to start to look at figuring out the more intricate details of this this record, right? So we have a purchase date, right? And we currently have that hard coded to be December 24th, 2018, which happens to be, coincidentally, the date for this record. So we've got the right one already, but maybe we want something a little more, right? And to do that, we need to look into the page again and start to extract out more of the contents of the page, so that we can get to the you last purchased this content, right? And to do that, we're going to have a look at the document, and so we're going to inspect that. And so we can see that we've got this particular the item, and what we want to do is we need to be able to find this. Now it doesn't have a useful class or ID, so a size medium, that's not particularly useful. It's in a alert content, that's not good to grip on. And order information group desktop is something that we've already sort of grabbed. So let's grab this element to begin with. And what we're going to do is have a look at its inner, it's text content actually. And let's have a look at what that looks like. Widen please. So we've got some scripting stuff, view this order, import to CouchDB, you last purchased this, purchased 2 times, and some script again. Okay, So what we actually want to do is, each of these is on a new line. So what might work is we can use match to say you last purchased this item on, and we're going to use a regular expression. So that in JavaScript, when we put a slash in, that means that we're doing a regular expression, which is a sort of a little programming language for matching text. So what we're going to do is search for the you last purchased this item as text. This bracket means that I'm creating a capture group, which means I want to grab this value a little later. Square bracket means match a particular character. And I'm going to search for anything that is not. So this is a not operator, a period. And then we're going to say do that multiple times. And let's give that a spin. Okay, so what we've done here is looking at this element that we've already been working with, looking at the text that is inside of it, and you can see that there's a bit of different text there. Some of it is noise, but one of the lines had this you last purchased this item, which means that we could search for that particular text inside that element and pull it out, and you can see that it's returned two things. The first is you last purchased this item on January 24th, 2018. And the second one, which is the full string that matched, the second one is the value of what we had, what it matched inside these brackets. And when we did this, it's basically matched this January 24th, 2018. So we're going to want to create multiple items just to get the ball rolling. So let's copy this again. And we're going to put this inside of here, but we're not going to do just the date. We're going to add another one, which is called title. And inside of that, date match, let date purchased equal that. We're going to do date purchased 1, and that's going to be, so this is a 0 index string, so it's 0, comma, and then 1. So it's going to give us that. I'm going to set that as the title, but now we need to do a little bit of magic to we need to do a little bit of magic in JavaScript. Date purchased date to turn that into a date. So let's do date purchased 1. So, and then we set this to be date purchased date. We need a let in front of that, and let's see what that does. So we're going to reload. We should close that out. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. Console clear, import. Okay, so let's have a look at what we came back with. Date created, date modified, values. The date is that, which is what we expected, and then the title is January 24th. So we've had JavaScript parse this date format for us, turn it into a JavaScript date, and we can see that there. We've kept the title, and of course we've got an error saying that we conflicted the document. So we're going to cheat here, and we're just going to add a 1 actually at the start, because what that'll do is it'll create a new document ID for us, and eventually we'll get back to replacing putting the original one, but while we're testing and developing, we'll keep that. Import document. So we clicked that, and it's a bit hard to see in here because it's snuck in the middle, but it created a yes for us. And now when we have a look, it's actually kind of hard because we don't know which one is which. So this is 120, and this one is 20C. So this is the one we just created. And we can see that we've got the purchase date, we've got the correct date there. Now, what we need to do is figure out the description. So let's scroll down through the page. We've got this here. Lots of shoes, product description. This sounds like a winner. Okay, let's hit inspect element on this. Data feature ID product feature description div. That sounds like a winner. Okay, so like we did last time, document.get element by ID. We're going to put in the ID that we found before. Jump over to the console so we can see that. And we can see that it's given us that. When we hover over that, that's highlighted the entire product description field. That looks like a winner for me. We can see that it's got a bunch of text inside of it, but we can use that text content trick again to be able to grab the text content. Why did that not output? Console.log. Did my terminal just bug it? Try that again. Inspect. There we go. And then we can do text content. And then we've got all of our text content again. This is maybe a bit much. So let's see if we can keep going. There's a P tag, there's a product description. Okay, maybe that's a better one to grab. So let's grab that. Inner text, again. Bunch of white space here. But I'm looking at that and I think that's probably a winner. So we've got 2 items, bit of text. That seems to be not too bad. So we'll grab that, and what we're going to do is replace our notes field with the text content. Now I'm going to do one other thing, which is I'm going to copy paste this one in, is replace all of those new lines with spaces, because you'll notice that there was a bunch of new lines that were in the text there, and they don't add much. So actually let's copy this back so you can see what this looks like. So what we've done is we've taken all of those new lines and replaced them with a space, so it spaces things out. What we might want to do is actually just do 2 new lines and just replace that with 1 new line, and let's see what that looks like. There's still a bunch of space in the middle there. Let's see if that works. So we want to match 1 new line and then 1 or more new lines. That's a little better. Okay. So now that we've done that, it's reduced those white space down a bit. So we'll save that. I'm going to bump this to 2 so that we can find it later. And then Let's go to the top of the page, reload. And we're going to go back to console. I'm going to clear that out. We hit import to BB. We can see that we've done rec-220 now, and that imported properly. We can have a look at the object. We can see that we've got our description there, we've got the purchase date, we've got the URL, we've got the address. And now when we go back, we should have an entry, there we go, that has our note field that includes the description text of that product description. Now, our next step in this adventure is going to be grabbing these images, because one of the powerful things with Tapforms is that we can create all of these images and put them in the record. And so we're obviously going to have a look at that. That will be our next episode in this series. So if you haven't subscribed already and this stuff is interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button so that you can find out when the next video comes online. If this was interesting, please hit the like button. If it wasn't interesting, hit dislike. Leave a comment. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, so that I can improve and make these videos better. These videos are done ad hoc as things come up and time allows. So they're a little disjointed, so make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when they come live. Hopefully this has been useful for you. Happy Tapformsing.